Hey guys, what's going on? This is the conservative speaking, and I have to talk about the Biden administration and the debacle that's going on in that cabinet. The Biden administration is just a complete crap show. It is a complete circus. It seems as if Joe Biden is in the news every other day for something that he absolutely shouldn't be in the news for. Um, the latest debacle now is it's the simple fact that the Pentagon has just confirmed that that the strike that the drone strike that was supposed to target the ISIS K fighter, or what was supposed to be the ISIS K fighter, instead targeted innocent um, civilians, innocent aid civilians, leading in 10 deaths that included 7 children. So, in all, the Biden administration, mainly Joe Biden, is responsible for 23 unnecessary deaths in Afghanistan. 23 unnecessary deaths. We're talking about the 13 deaths that he first caused were from U.S. servicemen that Joe Biden should have planned on getting out prior to getting the troops out. They died during an airport bombing from an ISIS K fighter. And then Joe Biden, acting as if he was going to get tough, decided then to set up an air drone strike, and they targeted what they thought was an ISIS K fighter. They even you had people like General Milley and Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, come out and state that it was um, that it was a successful mission for them to attack the right people and kill the ISIS K fighters. Now General Milley did admit that there were people that were killed. They didn't necessarily want to get into it, because what they really didn't want to get into was the simple fact that there were innocent people that were killed. And come to find out that not only did they miss their target, but they killed innocent civilian aid workers. 7 children died as a result of a mistake by Joe Biden. You know, it's funny that you can be the president of the United States and you can just kill people by accident and not be held for it, and not be held accountable for it at all. Must be cool being the president of the United States. You know, Joe Biden literally has a license to kill, and boy, is he using it to his very advantage. That is amazing. But this is just one of the debacles that has come down to the Biden administration. I mean, you name it. What hasn't really come down to the rabbit hole of the Biden administration that hasn't been exposed yet? Um, for instance, in July, um, what in July, sources stated that in a phone transcript, Joe Biden was on the phone with then uh, Afghan President Gandhi, in which Gandhi warned that after Joe Biden withdrew the troops in April, that the Afghan president warned that there was going to be a major surge um, of Taliban taking over, that were going to take over the government. And so Joe Biden knew this ahead of time, and yet Joe Biden told the Afghan president to lie and say, well, just let the people know that the Afghan army is a strong, and the Afghan army will take care of the Taliban. And pretty much he was telling the Afghan president, listen, get out of there while you can, grab whatever you can and get out of there. And that's exactly what the Afghan president did. All right. I mean, you're talking about two cowardly men who knew that this was going to happen, who knew they were going to leave their people behind. I guess they both have something in common. They're both definitely afraid of the Taliban, or as Joe Biden likes to refer to them as the Taliban. And they both left their people behind, and these were supposed to be the leaders of their country. So Gandhi left with the cash and supposedly some cars, and he was gone, and left the Afghan people to be ruled by the terrorist group called the Taliban. That is amazing. That is amazing that they have phone transcripts of this happening. So Joe Biden knew all of this time that the Taliban were going to invade Afghanistan. And yet Joe Biden Joe Biden could care less about the people that he left behind. I mean, this is supposed to be the leader of the free world. You know, if Donald Trump, the great white hope, if he would have done anything like this, Donald Trump would be crucified by the media. Joe Biden does something like this, crickets. And nobody even brings up the fact that Joe Biden had knowledgeable, that he had knowledgeable news or knowledgeable intel, knowing that by them withdrawing the troops and by them closing the Air Force, that the Taliban were going to easily take over Afghanistan. And not only did Joe Biden knew about it, he told the Afghan president, "Hey, get out of Dodge while you can, and while you can, just make up a lie and say that the Afghan army are doing their job to fight off the Taliban." And then come to find out, August 15th, the Taliban comes in. They take over Afghanistan as planned, and then Joe Biden, tries to pretend as if he was going to do something about it. Uh, he goes in, he sends in more troops, and supposedly is pretending as if he's trying to get the remaining people out. Now, Joe Biden initially said that he was going to get the people out by the 31st, and the Taliban said, "Great, we're going to hold you to that. Get your people out by the 31st, or we're going to start hurting your people." And Joe Biden did this without any contingencies at all. He just said, "Hey, okay, by the 31st, we're going to be out of there." And the Taliban said, "Yes, I know. You're going to you're going to go in and you're going to get your people out by the 31st." Literally getting punked by the Taliban. And Joe Biden kowtowed to them and said, "Okay, okay, all right. I know I said the 31st. I'm a man of my word. We will get everybody out by the 31st. We will leave no people behind." Joe Biden knew he was lying. He wasn't going to get everybody out, and he knew that. He knew that ahead of time, and yet he continued to go with the plan. And not only did Joe Biden kowtow to the Taliban, not only did he promise that he was going to get everybody out of there by the 31st, I'm sorry, not only did Joe Biden leave, but he left a day before the deadline. The last plane that had the remaining amount of troops up and left. And while they left hundreds of American service people behind. Think about this. You go in to serve your country, to provide a service to serve your country, only to find out that the government leaves you behind, and the State Department doesn't do anything to try to bring you back home. It has to be one of the most frightening things to happen to someone. Also, the most frustrating, because as an American, you do your due diligence. You serve your country only to find out that your country doesn't serve you. It's amazing, but this is what's happening under the Biden administration. Okay. Meanwhile, Joe Biden brings in 130,000 130,000 civilians. He's bragging about bringing in 130,000 civilians from Afghanistan. How many of them were Americans? About 6,000. So that means he brought in 123,000 Afghan refugees, not just Afghan refugees, but unvetted Afghan refugees. No paperwork, um, no paperwork, no mask, no vaccines. I guess as long as you're an Afghan refugee, you are exempt from getting the vaccine. But yet he's going to tell you, the American people, to get the vaccines. Once again, Joe Biden putting American people last and putting uh, immigrants first, because they know that these are the people that are going to this is the demographic that's going to continue to keep them in power, because they'll bring them into this country. They will they will they will try to naturalize them and make them citizens, give them free stuff, and then make them a new part of the Democratic Party that will continue to keep this crooked party in power. That was their plan all of this time. And now what's coming up is the border. I mean, everything that the Biden administration has touched has gone to dust. I mean, you name it. From what I just explained to pissing off allies. Um, so Biden struck a deal with the UK, along with Australia, to provide submarine to provide nuclear submarines to Australia. But by them doing that, Australia had to rip up the original deal that they had with France, with France wanting to provide them with nuclear submarines for $90 billion. So so now, with France feeling that they have been stabbed in the back by the U.S. and by Australia, they wind up withdrawing their diplomats from the U.S. embassies, and now we have tensions with France. I mean, it's the things that Joe Biden is doing is it's unbelievable. But what can we expect? Did you expect anything less from an incompetent, weak, pathetic, sorry excuse of a beta male that is Joe Biden? I mean, you knew this was going to happen when he came into office. You knew this was going to happen. But if you voted for this man, you're getting exactly what you deserve. All right. So from that to pissing off allies, and now the border is out of control. Just recently, there are 10,000 illegal Haitians under the bridge of Del Rio after crossing the Rio Grande. 10,000 illegal Haitians, illegal aliens that are Haitians, are under the bridge in unsanitary conditions. And the reason being was because initially there were 700 to 1,100 of these illegal Haitians that were under the bridge, and initially they were going to get deported on September 8th, and then all of a sudden the Biden administration decided that they were no longer going to deport these Haitians. So what do the Haitians do? They get on the phone and they're calling their relatives, "Hey, the border is wide open. They're not kicking us out. They're letting us in. So everybody come along." That was so at September 8th, there were anywhere from 700 to 1,100 illegal Haitians. September 16th, 8 days later, the number grows from 700 to 1,100 to 10,000 Haitians. 10,000 illegal Haitians under the bridge of Del Rio, Texas. I mean, not only is this inhumane, but it's unsafe. I mean, it's a humanity issue, it's a health issue, and it's a safety issue. Once again, you have people coming in with God knows what type of diseases they're coming in with. Not to mention, they're coming in. Most of them are probably coming in with COVID, and guess what? They get to come right on into. Eventually they're going to come right into this country. Now, Joe Biden is trying to see if he can deport 2,000, but even if that happens, all right, 2,000 is nothing compared to 10,000 illegal Haitians. All right, if you don't believe it for yourself, you need to watch this.
Saying, please, no journalists allowed. As you know, they did the same thing in the Donna tent facility in the Rio Grande Valley, where they wouldn't allow Fox News to come in. When I brought 19 senators to the Rio Grande Valley, I had to go in with my cell phone and photograph and take videos. I'll tell you, I'm right there. That bridge is behind me. And I just finished going again with my cell phone, taking videos of what's happening there. It is the most horrific thing I've ever seen. There are right now, as we're speaking.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Right now, as we're speaking, there are 10,503 people under that bridge. It is packed in as a mass of humanity, and it is the scope of it, until you see it, and I'm putting those videos out tonight, you'll get a chance to see it. They take your breath away because it just goes on and on and on. Infants, little children, people struggling enormously. And something stunning that I discovered today is I discovered the cause of why this is happening.
By the way, Senator, we're showing your video right now.
Yeah.
Your team was able to get it over to us. Thank you for sharing. And by the way, we wouldn't have had the video inside of Joe Biden's overcrowded cages. You're right. Our cameras were with you when you were there. They wouldn't allow our cameras in, and the only video we had came from people like you that shared it with us. I appreciate it, and we're showing that video right now that you took earlier tonight. By the way, can you
and this is the Fox News undercover drone right here.
Yeah, the Fox News undercover drone. I don't know how much we're allowed to pay you, Senator. You do have another job, but we do. Honestly, the American people need to see it. Now we're going to weaponize the FAA. We can't fly our drone because, God forbid, the American people see the mess created. Can you explain to me, with the vaccine mandates that Joe Biden is placing on the American people, how is it possible that Democrats rejected the plan to mandate vaccines for illegal immigrants? They're not even testing them. You showed us the overcrowded cages in the middle of a pandemic. We know the high rate of COVID positivity. Then they're dispersed throughout the country. How many Americans get sick and die that we will never know about because of these open borders?
The answer is simple, that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are absolute hypocrites. Those 10,000 people there, do you know how many Border Patrol has tested? Zero. Not a one. They don't have the capacity to do that. And let me tell you something stunning that I learned tonight about why this happened, because this is a man-made crisis. 8 days ago, on September 8th, under that same bridge, there were between 700 and 1,000 people. That was what was coming a day, about 1,000, sometimes 1,100, but it would range between 700 and 1,100. Then 8 days ago, on September 8th, the Biden administration made a political decision. They announced that they were no longer going to fly deportation flights back to Haiti. 85% of the people under there are from Haiti. They're fleeing from Haiti. They announced they weren't going back. There were about 900 Haitians who were getting ready to board the flights when the political operatives in Washington canceled the flights. Well, what happened? Those 900 people, they all pulled out their cell phones, and they emailed their friends, and they emailed their families, and they texted their friends and their families. That was 8 days ago on September 8th. Today, it's September 16th, 8 days later, and 700 people has grown to 10,500 because the word has gone out. If you're from Haiti, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have said, we have open borders, come to Del Rio, and they will let you in. Everyone under that bridge is turning themselves in, and it's a political decision that Joe Biden could end tonight by simply following the law and saying we are going to send people back to Haiti, which is what federal immigration law requires until Biden and Harris got into office.
Amazing, huh? And by the way, where is Kamala Harris? Where is she? She's in charge of the border. Joe Biden made her the border czar. I'm putting an APB out on Kamala Harris. We the people who pay her salary, we demand to find out where she is and how come she's not here dealing with the crisis that we see on the border of Texas. Oh, I know why. Because she thought it was a better idea to attend a Howard game. For those of you that are not familiar with Howard University, as Howard University is a historic black college, and she thought it was more important to get in touch with her blackness and attend a Howard game as opposed of attending the border crisis that we have right now in Del Rio, Texas. We have tens and thousands of illegal Haitians that are cramped under a bridge. We have a real border crisis. All of these people are under a bridge in Del Rio, Texas, and they're here illegally. And she's the border czar. But she would rather attend a Howard game than to deal with the issue that we have at the border. Folks, these are our leaders. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. You know, Kamala Harris is a woman, and it's not really within a woman's nature to lead. So I can see why. I can see why she doesn't plan on doing her job as the border czar. Because just like she said before, we've been to the border. We've been to the border. We've been to the border. Cackling Harris. Remember, folks, we've been to the border. Nothing to see here. Nothing that we haven't seen before. Amazing. These are your leaders. These are your leaders. Get what you deserve. These are your leaders. Amazing stuff, folks. But everything that the Biden administration has touched has literally went to dust. Joe Biden has only been in office for 8 months. For 8 months. We have a domestic crisis with the border, with inflation. Joe Biden is pitting the vaccinated versus the unvaxxed. So much tension in America right now, and it's caused by Joe Biden. All right. I mean, crime going through the roof, suicides going through the roof. It's like the world is in turmoil. But don't you worry, because it's vacation time. Joe Biden did what he had to do. We have a border we have a crisis at the border right now. And what is the leader of the free world doing? Well, he's going on vacation. The vice president decided to watch a game at Howard. And meanwhile, we have tens and thousands of illegal Haitian aliens cramped under a bridge. I mean, it literally looks like what California's Skid Row would be, but it's magnetized 50 times over. It's a disgrace. Amazing. But this is what they want, because they know that eventually these are going to be the new audience for the Democratic Party. They're pretty much just telling these people, hey, sit tight. Eventually, you guys will get in. And when we get you in, we're going to give you free stuff, all right, at the expense of the taxpayer. And we will keep you under our grip and control, because when it comes to Democrats, it's all about power and control. It's not about your freedoms. It's about power and control. And that's what they want. They're bringing in a new set of illegals that they will eventually turn into citizens. At least that's the plan. And then this is going to be the new group that's going to vote Democrat. Amazing. Again, these are our leaders. All right. I mean, everything that they have been they have been in charge of is all screwed up. He's only been there for Joe Biden has been in office for less than a year, and he screwed up the 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 domestic policy, foreign policy. I mean, the man is just no good at any policies at all. And see, this is what happens when you try to get into racial equity and you want to make things equal. What you do is that you're bringing in a whole bunch of unqualified people that are screwing up America. And with all of these illegals coming in, once again, we're going back to the old days of America last, immigrants first. All right? The immigrants are treated really more as first-class citizens, and the American people are treated as third-class citizens. They want you to get the vax. They want you to put on a mask. They're doing the vaccine and mask mandates, but not for people who are here illegally. But as Americans, you do as we say. And for the un-Americans, you do as you do. As we will eventually make you our slaves as well. Welcome to the Democratic Party. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below after you subscribe to my channel. Click the like button if you like the video. And once again, subscribe. I'm going to have some more I'm going to have some more content coming through for you, for your young listening ears. Because you know I come with the truth. All right? And with that being said, and by the way, before I go, like this shirt? Wuhan James. He's taking his talents to China. Nice shirt, huh? LeBron James is the spokesperson and the puppet for China. So with that being said, this is the Conservative. Signing out. Have a good night.